Our next question comes from Jerry M., who says, you probably somewhat covered the question that I'd like to pose to you. How useful is Wing Chun as far as self-defense is concerned? And what are my chances of being successful, or a successful martial artist, like karate at age 45, with a great deal of knowledge and concept but very little experience? Okay. What do I think of Wing Chun as a practical martial art for self-defense? Here's the thing. I get all these questions like, what do I think of Wing Chun? What do I think of Hapkido? What do I think of Salat or whatever martial arts style? And what we call our martial arts, the label we put on them, is probably the least important thing about that style, about that martial art, about your experience with it. The name we give to a martial art is the thing I care about the least, to be honest. How you are able to perform, whether you can win the fight or not, that is what I care about. I used to be very much about styles. My very first martial art was Taekwondo, and I remember back in the day, I wanted to be not just exceptional at Taekwondo, I wanted to redeem the martial art of Taekwondo, because there came a point where it started to become a joke, started to become a running gag. And I didn't like that. I didn't like people laughing when they heard, I train Taekwondo, ha ha ha, that stupid Taekwondo sucks. Like, what happened? It used to be cool. It used to be serious. But not so much anymore. And it was very important to me to try to redeem that style. Until it dawned on me, over time, styles are stupid. Labels are stupid. And people who are very dogmatic about their style, because martial arts are very much like a religious cult in many ways, the way that they are observed and revered by their constituents. Everybody's looking for the one true style. Is Wing Chun the one true style of martial arts? I don't know. I've met a bunch of guys who practice Wing Chun. A couple of them, I would say, were pretty decent fighters who could handle themselves in a fight. Most of them were, how can I put this, hobbyists who were not particularly athletic or good at fighting and would probably get the crap beaten out of them, even though they had a very cerebral understanding of the style. And I could say that about almost every single martial arts style. There are probably a lot of people out there who think that Kyokushin karate is a great martial art because there are lots of really tough guys who compete in that style of karate fighting. And yeah, those guys exist. I mean, look at Andy Hogue, one of the best fighters ever, one of my favorite fighters ever. Came from a Kyokushin background. But guess what? Not everybody who does Kyokushin karate is Andy Hogue. Not everybody is anywhere close to that level. There are a lot of really wimpy guys who train in Kyokushin karate as well. There are a lot of wimpy guys who can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag, who train in that style and every other style. There are plenty of guys who come to go to an MMA gym or a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym who suck at fighting. And that shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone, but it does for some reason. You get out of your martial art what you put into it. Not what you call it, what you put into it. Now, granted, Wing Chun will teach you a very specific style of movement. And that very specific style of movement is applicable in specific situations. Wing Chun won't teach you anything about wrestling. Won't teach you anything about defending takedowns. And I don't care what people on the internet are saying, well, my Wing Chun instructor teaches this anti-takedown defense or whatever. Okay. If he's doing that, it's not actually Wing Chun. My karate teacher teaches me flying arm bars. Okay, it's not actually karate. My Krav Maga teacher teaches me how to fight for real. That's not actually Krav Maga, because it sucks. I jest, Krav Maga friends, I jest. Just most of it sucks. There are probably, I don't know for sure, but there are probably some legitimate badasses out there who call their style Krav Maga and actually know how to fight. I haven't personally met them. Out of the many Krav Maga practitioners and instructors that I have met, but they probably exist. You know, given the billions of people on this planet, there's probably one or two out there who exist. I'm sure somebody in the comment section is typing furiously, "Why do you have to hate on Krav Maga all the time? My instructor's the best, and I train at a legitimate school because we train in a mix of martial arts. It's just like MMA because we do some boxing and some jiu-jitsu and some Muay Thai." Okay. A pastiche martial art where you cherry pick little pieces of other martial arts that you like out of context is a terrible idea in my opinion. This is getting off topic, but I hear a lot of people say that their self-defense gym, reality-based Krav Maga, whatever you want to call it, cherry picks these little pieces that they like from other styles, and so it's the same thing as MMA. No, it's not. Not even close. Self-defense should be the polar opposite of MMA. MMA, you're locked in a cage and you are forced to fight. You become the danger. In self-defense, you flee from the danger. Can't believe how many times I've said that. Check out those ribs. Anyway, don't know what that's for. I remember going way off topic here, reading this article about this fitness program that came out like maybe 20 years ago called the Caveman fitness program. Some people were getting excited about it. Basically, the idea was you beat yourself with your fists like a gorilla to force involuntary muscular contractions. And the idea is you can't hit yourself harder than your body can take it. And so the video was hilarious. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I should look that up. But there were these guys just whacking themselves with their fists. And man, comedy gold right there. I don't know if there's something to that. You walk around Shanghai, China in the morning and you see old people walking backwards and slapping themselves like this. And I've asked them, like, what's that for? And they say, it increases circulation. It makes you more healthy. Maybe there's something to it. There we go. I feel so healthy now. Anyway, back to the topic of Wing Chun. Is Wing Chun good for self-defense? You actually asked another question there. Let's get off the self-defense topic, because that just makes me angry, to be honest. The self-defense industry is a scam, man. It's a bunch of money-grubbing fear mongers trying to make you afraid so that they can capitalize on you, on your fears, and that is not okay. It's the same kind of thing as prosperity gospel preachers who try to capitalize on people's faith. They find people who love Jesus, for example, and they're like, oh, hey, guess what? I'm the real way to Jesus. Just give me all the money in your wallet every Sunday and you'll be good with the Lord. And that's not okay. That's priestcraft. That's evil. Don't be a part of that, friends. Pure religion and undefiled before God the Father is this: to give to the fatherless and the widows, and to look after them in their affliction, and to keep yourself unspotted from the world, as the Apostle James taught. That's real religion, what you do, not what you say. Martial arts is so much like a religion. So you asked, at age 45, can you be a competent martial artist with a strong cerebral understanding of a martial art like karate? I'm going to look at that question again because I don't remember exactly how you worded it. What are my chances of being a successful martial artist at age 45 with a great deal of knowledge of concept but very little experience? Well, that depends on what you mean by martial artist. So there are plenty of martial artists out there, millions and millions, maybe billions of them. I don't know. Don't know how many martial artists are in the world, but there are millions of martial arts out there with a strong cerebral understanding of their art, but not a strong physical ability to implement their style. I'm 40 years old, so you're a little older than me. And I would say I have a strong physical and cerebral ability to implement my martial arts. If I did not, doing what I do for a living, coaching, training cage fighters, training people who want to be cage fighters or train and perform like cage fighters, that would be very difficult. Now, if that is what you mean, well, get physically fit, my friend. 45 is not too late to become physically fit, not at all. The peak levels of human strength are achievable between age 35 and 50. That's the peak levels of human strength, and a lot of people are confused by that because they haven't met very many healthy, older people. And why not? Well, in most of the countries that I have lived in and visited, the United States, Argentina, China, man, actually, let's scratch China off that list because it's mostly an American thing, mostly a Western thing, I would say. We don't see a lot of healthy older people. In China, we actually do see a lot of healthy older people because they stay active and they move and they do Tai Chi and ballroom dance and they walk around slapping themselves in the arms as they walk around in the morning backwards or clapping and doing this. And it's confusing to Westerners because we're not used to seeing old folks move around so much. We're used to seeing them hobble around with their walker or their cane or not even move at all and sit in a wheelchair. And so for a lot of Americans, they think 40 is old, 45 is old. And man, I get this so much from people on the internet calling me kid, people who are younger than me calling me young man. I'm like, dude, I'm older than you. I'm a decade older than you. Settle down. And their response is, well, I'm shocked. You look younger than you are. Younger. Ah, man. I look like I don't lead a sedentary lifestyle, because I don't. I move, I eat, I breathe, I sleep, and I think in ways that push me in a positive direction, always. And you should too. And if you do that, well, guess what? You can be a competent martial artist at the age of 45 easily, especially if you have a strong cerebral understanding. You can draw on that experience. Do not try to separate the mind from the body, because in a very real way, your body is your mind is your body. And your brain is quite literally your body. It's part of it. You can't cut that out of your head and exist. This is a vessel that directs your soul, that shapes your very being, that allows your consciousness to have experiences. And without this body, without using it the way that it was meant to be used, what are you? A brain in a jar? Brains in a jar don't get very far, my friends. If it rhymes, it must be true. So get up, get moving, take a walk, Lift weights, do some strength training. Do some burpees. Do your kata. Focus on flexibility. Get flexible. If you're not flexible and you want to be good at a martial art, get flexible. Here's a great thing about flexibility. There are 3 studies that have been performed in the last 10 years about stretching and longevity. And they're published. You can find them on the internet. I don't have the link off the top of my head because I'm not connected to the internet here at the gym right now. But the studies showed that stretching produces the development of new stem cells in the joints. So if you are having joint pain, for example, and you're thinking, oh, I've got the joints of a 90-year-old man. Guess what? Not all 90-year-old men have terrible joints. When I was a kid, I had a lot of joint pain. A lot. I had a lot of health problems. A lot. I'm not a natural athlete. Naturally, I'm the skinniest little stick man ever. So every ounce of muscle, every little bit of strength I have, I had to work so incredibly hard for. But stretching, focusing on becoming flexible every single day, more flexible every single day, that is so amazing for your spine, for your knees, for your elbows, for your neck, for your shoulders, for every joint in your body, your hips especially. And most people are incredibly deficient with their flexibility in their hips and their spine. I have a good friend who ended up having multiple surgeries on his back. And a lot of people ask, well, what happened to your back? And it's hard to say, because he didn't do anything strenuous. He led basically a sedentary lifestyle, and it ended up catching up to him. Because the body is one of those use it or lose it kind of things, but use it after you've lost it, per se, and we will gain it back and better. I'm in much better health, much better shape than I was as a child, much better shape than I was as a teenager, much better shape than I was in my 20s, even better shape than I was in my 30s at age 40. And that has nothing to do with age, obviously. You know, exercise and stretching, it will not make you immortal, not at all. And that's not the point of this. It is going to increase your quality of life so that in the duration that you are on this planet, in this mortal coil, in this body, that this vessel will do what you need it to do. That it will facilitate what your mind, what your heart desires it to do. So get right with your body. And whatever you want to do with your martial arts, the sky's the limit. Thanks for the question. Now get out there and train.